I started on computers, ripping apart electronics when I was pretty young. I would pull apart anything I could basically get my hands on, anything electronic, and most of the time I could get it back together, although plenty of times I couldn't. So thank you to my mom and dad in back tonight for encouraging that habit. Fast forward to about 2003, it was my freshman year of college, and I decided I wanted to start a website. Within 6 months, we grew to about 20 million users, and we were one of YouTube's main competitors. We got to help Mark when he was starting Facebook. There was 10 employees there at the time. It was a much different time on the internet. And fortunately, we got our provisional patents in really early, and we ended up being the first company to send a video from the internet to a cell phone. During that journey, I realized really quickly, the cell phone carriers at that time were trying to figure out ways to sell data plans. And so we were at the right place at the right time. We were able to license that technology to help the cell phone carriers send videos between phones. You know, you think that hundreds of millions of dollars will make you happy, and we realized even if you're flying on your own plane, you still bring the exact same baggage with you. So 11 years ago, I decided to start my life back over. And my passion was teaching businesses how to understand the relationship between users, revenue, and expenses. Basically, how much are you guys worth to us on the internet as business owners? So we'll go ahead and start talking first. There's this concept called search engine optimization. Basically, it's how high you show up on Google. And there's a lot of assumptions made around it, right? So let's say that you guys are a plumber here in Kansas City. When somebody searches plumbing and plumber in Kansas City, right now you guys are 8th, and that generates about 1,000 users a month. And we say, okay, we're really good at what we do. We'll go ahead, we'll get you guys first. And that's going to generate 10,000 users a month. And we do it. And we look at the client, we say, did we do a good job? Did we increase? Did we help your business? Yeah, of course. Well, what if this generates 10 leads and that generates 10 leads? Did we still do a good job? No. Quite frankly, we'd be a lot better off if we could just generate more leads. So understanding how users flow on the internet helps us to understand what they're worth. Firstly, a bunch of ways that people are getting to a website. SEO, a Google search, pay-per-click, ads, a chamber of commerce, a business card. They all enter our website in different ways. We get emails from people, we copy that line and paste it really quickly and go look. The constraints that you guys set for us are basically you're willing to go to 1.5 to 2.5 pages per visit and spend basically 1.5 minutes per visit on the website. The things that we care about, though, that we established before are the output, hopefully, is a conversion, a lead, a name, an email, and a phone number. Otherwise, you're an expense and you're not really worth much to us. So, what we do is we look for linear contingencies that have to happen into making you guys become revenue for a company. So let's say that our average website's $50,000. And that's going to be our lifetime value, right? Sometimes we go to a barber and we only pay $20 to get our hair cut. But we go to that barber for 5 years. We're not just worth that initial $20. It's the entirety of our entire visit there and how long we go. So this is one client. What did it take to generate this one client? Well, maybe it took 2 meetings. One client liked us, the other one said, you guys suck, and we're out. What did it take to generate these 2 meetings? It took 4 phone calls. Right? 2 people said, no, I just can't come in. We can't come in. Oh, I thought it was something else. What did it take to generate 4 calls? It took 6 leads, right? People filled out their name, they didn't give us the right phone number, though. So we couldn't get them on the phone. We couldn't make them come in. And so then what did it take to generate these 6 leads? It took 100 users just coming in to the site in the first place, and 6 of them ended up coming back out. At this point, we can tell you how much you're worth. If one client's $50,000, each one of our meetings is worth about $25,000. Each of our phone calls, everybody says, oh, I'm a receptionist, Well, how much do you think that phone call when you were in the bathroom that we missed, how much do you think that was worth? Well, if it takes 4 calls to make that call was worth about $12,500. Each of the leads that we generate from the site, each form that gets filled out, it's worth about $8,000. And each user is worth about $500 just to come to the site. So what we did is we started taking a lot more time. We said, this is an expense, right? We have to pay to get these people here. And this is our revenue down here. How do we make you worth more money without you realizing it? Well, most people are going to say, well, if you get a bunch more users, so we get 200 users here, we're going to end up with 12 leads. Well, best case scenario, that is a linear growth. It's up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Our expenses match our revenue the entire way through. Instead, if we look at the theory of constraints, which says that we basically have to set our pace of operational flow at our largest bottleneck. This is 6%. 6 to 4 is 60%. 4 to 2 is 50%. And 2 to 1 is 50% as well. Well, what if instead of adding more users here, we start looking at our bottlenecks? And maybe we can get a little bit better quality of a user down here. Well, we've kept our same expense, but made you worth more money now. And we see exponential curves. So let's see how that applies to the internet. Let's put this on an actual website. All right. So this is a cleaning franchise. They have about 50 locations. We've been working with them for about 4 or 5 years. And they said, what are we going to do? We need more users. We need more users. And we said, look, when somebody searches for you, and I'm searching cleaning company in Prairie Village, you guys are already right here. You can't get any higher than first and first. You can't get any higher. You can't get any more users. So how do we make those users worth more? So what we did is we came in. When you used to click on this Get a Quote button, for 3 years, it took you to this form. And Scott, who's a brilliant marketer and also an owner of the company, I said, look, I think we have an idea. I think we should triple the length of this form, Scott. I think that's what we should do. He goes, dude, I think you're an idiot. I think that everybody on the internet would say the shorter the form, the more the leads. I think what you're trying to say is you're going to generate a higher quality lead. So no, I know the difference between quality and quantity. No, I don't think that's how it works. So we made a little friendly wager. We kind of go back and forth on our marketing stuff. So he said, okay, let's see what we get. Let's do 6 months. So we did. We more than tripled the length of the form. When you click on Get a Quote Now, we actually decided, let's ask you a lot more relevant questions. Oh yeah, and on top of that, let's go ahead and ask for their address. Well, that's surely going to decrease people from filling it out, right? If you're going to ask for my address, the quantity can only go down, but maybe the quality thing's going up? So no, we're going to increase the quantity here. So what happened? This form now has basically been up for about a year. Remember that original one was there 3 years. So over here is the form names. But what you can see, the original form was up for 3 years. It had 108,000 views. It generated about 4,500 leads. So that's 1,400 leads a year, something around that range. At a 4.2% conversion rate. This is the number of people that viewed it. This is how many people filled it out. So it made about 4.2. The average on the internet's 5%. This new form has now been up a year. It's had about the same amount of views, maybe a little less. We're shoving a lot more people there. But we did 25,000 leads, almost 26,000 leads in a year with a conversion rate of 24%. It was interesting. We were having a conversation at a convention and somebody said, well, I was talking about how these long forms convert more. No, that's not it. The length doesn't matter. What we have to understand is, what is this universal carrot that we can dangle in front of a user? And what that means is, there was a big rainstorm here, 2 years ago? Everybody's building an ark in their backyard. I think every basement in Kansas City probably flooded. And just picture, your basement's flooding, but it's not because of the rain. A pipe burst. It's flooding the basement at about an inch an hour. You start calling plumbers. I'm sorry, I'm booked. I'm doing sump pumps. I'm sorry, I'm booked. I'm doing sump pumps. After about 40 plumbers, finally you get me on the phone. I say, yeah, you know what? Clearly you need some help. I'm in the neighborhood doing a sump pump. I'll pull an extra shift. I'll call you when I'm about 10 minutes away. I call you up on the phone. Hey, what's going on? You know, I'm about 10 minutes away. Like I said, I'll call you up. You know, I was thinking of my last job. Do you want to know? I can give you a bid over the phone and tell you how much it's going to be for me to fix it. You guys want to know? Well, yeah. Does it matter? Are you not going to have that plumber come if they tell you a price too high? You're just going to let your stuff float away in the basement? Right? When we can figure out what a user wants, even if it's not in their best interest, how we ask them that, we make you worth more money. We're saying we're willing to take what you're telling me and turn it into money. So after we got these forms converting really well, we said, how do we get more users now? So we got a little extra money to funnel in here. Let's say it's $10,000, and you guys are the marketing team. I say, hey, look, the main marketing platforms online for paid advertising are Facebook ads, Google ads, Bing ads, Yahoo. I said, where are you going to put the money? It's a service brand. Well, Facebook's probably a safe bet. So we did. Put $10,000 into Facebook, and this is April of last year. We use this Google Analytics software. We track you everywhere you go on the internet, where you're at, what you do, how long you were there, what pages you look at, how you got to us. And so you can see down here we've got Facebook, Facebook, and Facebook. And the user count from this, and these Facebook users, so you guys can see in the back, there's 520 plus 409 plus 176. So like 1,300 Facebook users came to the site during that time. Well, sounds good. I mean, that's the second largest. I mean, Google only did 2,500, so we must be doing something right. And we went back to that causation versus correlation piece. Let me zoom in on the only thing that matters over here. The number of leads. We have 2 plus 3 plus 0. So for that $10,000, we got 5 leads. And when we laugh, we say, clearly, you know, I mentioned Yahoo and Bing. So let's take a look at these. As we come over, we see Bing and Yahoo right here. So 7 and 9 here. They had 101 users and 196 users. If we come back over, Bing did 26 leads this month. Yahoo did 12. It still outperformed it. But what we do is we over-emotionalize things, and when we get back to the reality of what a user's actually worth, the only person that can control that is you guys. So realize when you're filling out a form, when you're doing anything on the internet, you guys have the ability to change what you're worth to businesses like us. Thank you, guys.